welcome back to my channel. Thank you for passing through. Hopefully you're here to stay for the entire video. So I always try and think of things like, what do I wish I knew before I had a baby, while I had a baby, after I had a child? And the one thing that came to mind today is that I wish I knew that you really need to be careful and think about who you're choosing to be the father of your child. Obviously, some people may be in circumstances where they had no choice as to the person as their child. Maybe they were raped, they were abused. So many things can happen that there can be no choice. But if you can choose and you are planning and actively with someone and you're talking and discussing about having a child, you really need to look at their character traits, because the sort of person that you choose to be the father of your child can really dictate where your life ends up going as well. So for example, with me, I knew full well that my son's dad already had 2 kids and he wasn't looking after them. Now, the story that he told me is that it was none of his fault. These women had issues with him, and naively and like a gullible little girl that I was, I believed him. Now, if I had more common sense and I was looking at things clearer and I wasn't so deep in love, there would have been so many red flags that stood out for me. So for one, if you're with a partner who is currently not working or cannot hold down a job or is not earning a lot financially that they could support you and your child if something was to happen, that is a red flag for me. If you're with someone who has emotional issues, they get too emotional, they get too angry, maybe they like to withdraw, they don't communicate with you emotionally, there is a disconnect, that is another red flag. If you're with someone who doesn't even really like children, that is a red flag. You and your partner need to talk about how you expect things to run when you have kids. Does he expect you just to be at home and to look after the children? Do you expect his help as well? Do you want to go back to work? Are you both going to work? There is so much that you really need to get down to the nitty-gritty to see if you two are on the right page. The next thing that I would look at, especially now, is what is this person's future goals and plans? Are they ambitious? Because if you are a very ambitious person and you're with someone who just wants to stay stagnant, they don't mind just earning minimum wage, they don't want to move anywhere, they're happy just being on the same estate, living the same way, thinking the same way, but yet you're all about growth, eventually you two are going to really clash. So you need to look at these things, really think about, what do you want for the father of your child? What did you miss out on? What were you lacking? What do you want to be able to give your child in return? I just wish I thought about these things more, but I didn't. I had my son and he was planned as well. He was no accident. I was in my early 20s when I had my son and I was just finishing university. And in my mind, I assumed that I was gonna, I'm laughing at it now. I assumed I was gonna become a housewife, that I'd never have to work again and my man would take care of me and my baby and all the finances. Now, I was living in La La Land, because when I was pregnant with my son, a lot of the time his dad didn't even have a job. I know. And then when he did get jobs, there would always be short little jobs here and there, like maybe he'd do a bit of, what was it? Like he'd work with a removal company for a little bit. He worked in a shop for a little while. And he could never actually hold down a job. That should have been a big, massive red flag to me, that this man is not financially ready to take care of you or a child. But I just felt ready to have a baby. And not that I pressured him, but I feel like he knew that if he wasn't going to have a baby with me, I would have ended the relationship and I would have moved on. And so we ended up having a child. But he was not ready. I was ready, at least mentally I felt ready. Financially, I knew I could do it because I've always been good with money and I don't mind having to say no to things and not always have luxuries in life. But he was not ready. And I really made the decision that I was ready to have a child and he wasn't. And I wish back then I really looked at the bigger picture and saw that no, this man is not in a position to become a father again. He's just not. If you're with someone who's only working a little 9 to 5 and you two are already struggling, if you have a child, that is not going to bring you closer together. Oh my gosh, I really thought having a baby would bond our relationship. We're going to be so happy. We're going to become the mummy and daddy that I've always wanted to be, and this baby is just going to seal the deal. No, if anything, having a child emphasized even more what was lacking in our relationship and what was lacking in him and myself as well. So again, I just want to reiterate, especially to younger black women out there, because I was that younger black woman, be careful who you decide to have a child with, because it will follow you for the rest of your life. Now look at this scenario. Even if you're with a partner and you break up, but he's financially secure, he has his own home, he's emotionally intelligent, he likes to communicate with you, that could really make a difference to how then you two's co-parenting ends up going in the future. Because he will be able to financially to help and support your child. He won't mind having to talk to you about things that may be, touchy topics and discussions, but he will discuss those things with you because he's mature. He will put his child first because that's his priority. Find someone who actually values family, who really wants to be a father, who has morals and is disciplined and knows what it takes to make something work. Don't just have a baby with someone because they look cute. Don't have a baby with someone because they have nice hair. Don't have a baby with someone just because you're in love. Because being in love is not going to be enough. I can guarantee you that love is not going to be enough, because a baby puts pressure on both of you. So I just wish when I was younger, somebody said to me that, Sarah, if you have a child with this man and it doesn't work out, there's a chance that he will not be able to financially support you. There's a chance that he will not be there for this child because he's not there for the other two that he has. There's a chance that he will not communicate with you on a mature level because his mental state just isn't there. There's a chance that this man will have no involvement in your son's life because he's already shown that is his track record. Now, even if I made the decision to still have a baby with him, at least I would have known this could potentially happen. But I was extremely naive and gullible, and I don't want anybody to make the same mistake. Not saying that my son is a mistake, but I definitely feel like the man that I chose to have my child he was a mistake. He was a big fat mistake. Now, thank you to him and his sperm, because I have a beautiful baby boy who I wouldn't change for the world. But if I could change his father, I definitely would. So for you ladies out there, black, white, Asian, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, think ahead. Think and look at what this person really brings to the table and what their character shows you about their personality traits. Because how they are now is a good sign of how they'll be later. So I hope this has helped someone, or at least it's been a bit of food for thought for someone who's considering having a child. And hopefully you'll be back for my next video. Bye.